There are so many people out there who are studying openings instead of learning how to win the game. In other words, if you are studying the London or any opening variation, how much will that really reward you toward winning a game versus learning specific strategic methods, maneuvers, plays, or honing your endgame skills toward pocketing further points and thereby gaining rating points? Our goal is that everyone should have an opportunity to become a better player. That is far more important than any individual win for rating points, because honestly, when you are a certain strength, the rating points just come and go. If you have a bad day, your rating returns to your true strength on the very next day. So there's no reason, absolutely no reason for anyone to be fretting over rating points or anyone getting help on any particular move when this is meant purely and entirely for training for actual real-life events. You have to start at the beginning. Basically, you're going for an AP class in chess when you study Kasparov or Magnus. And if you've not passed all of your primary school classes, your fundamentals, your absolute basics, which are Lasker, Capablanca, Morphy, Alekhine, then it becomes very difficult to jump into science at a higher level. Aim higher. Set your standards higher. Be better. I mean, you're aiming at a level of player that is more or less intermediate. I already made this comment earlier that players under 2400 are intermediate. So if you aim higher, aim at becoming a better player. Basically, Gotham Chess is an advanced intermediate player. He is hoping to become a grandmaster for a reason, because then he will be a real player. I would only hope to do the same thing myself, as my rating is even lower and weaker. I'm not as good as Gotham Chess yet. I am a hop, skip, and a jump above beginner.
And of course, the old discovered mate, I would actually like to call this the Reti mate, right? Where he sacked his queen on d8 and played bishop to g5 and bishop to d8 when the king ran to c7, as there were pawns here, rook on this square, knight on that square. So the Richard Reti mate followed by the...
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, grasshoppers. We have a couple of arenas featuring Grandmaster Maurice Ashley. Happy birthday, Maurice. He's a good friend. He has engaged me on projects before, and maybe it's time for me to engage him on a project in return. He is always very enthusiastic about chess, and he's always a very sincere and good person. I cannot speak of him highly enough. It's crazy. In any event, let's get some tunes going. Hopefully they won't be too loud. I'm trying to find a spot for the tunes. Oh, that was still not it. There we go. How about that one? Alright, and now... Very good. We were starting off with knight f3 still. Am I going to get there from here? Maybe not. No! I set it up. I was expecting queen g6 at any time. Why I didn't play for that earlier, I do not know. But I do love this particular background of the Roman Forum. I do wish to return to Rome one of these days. Perhaps to have a gig there. I think I want to give a few classes and do my world tour before I retire. That would be a very good thing. Before I retire, before everything goes, perhaps book some nice outings. Disable those lead chess tools. Who is playing right now? We have Viking, myself, and Ron Hay. Where are you, Ron? Ron is probably in the middle of a game. Oh no, this is the first time I'm going to pause Ron Hay out. First time for everything. Control C. 960. Unless he's just coming. What do you think? We can pause him anyway. This only takes a second. And then to let him right back in. We return and he is now paused, and Viking and I can continue our match. When there are only 2 players in an arena, provided the others have paused out properly, Viking and I can get paired. How's our... Let's bring this down just a little bit so that we have a nice large board. Now usually I play knight f6. But we will have to see what we get out of this mix. No, sir. He could have gotten back his material by playing bishop to h6 there with the queen on a1. No, we're not letting you castle, sir. I'm afraid not. Piece of string walks into a bar. Gets all frazzled. No, sir. Walks back inside. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve string here." I butchered this joke, but you can improve it however you see fit. String says to the bartender, "I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not." We can try that joke one more time. Piece of string walks into a bar. Bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve string here." String gets all frustrated, leaves, gets all flustered, frazzled, tied up in frustration. I blundered it again. And now, I didn't berserk this time. Is my opponent going to? Take advantage of my weakness? What is this? This is shutter? Ruh-roh. I think I have to try to take advantage of that one. Really? So Viking and I definitely need to work on this. We've got this, buddy. Could be that time of our lives. Oh, and you know what? We're not getting our analysis in, I realize, but we have time before the next event. I'm very happy that he's not berserking, though. My new favorite to watch in the absence of Danya is Eric Rosen. I believe that Eric Rosen is the new relative coming as far as determining who's going to be. Can I ruin his pawn structure? Where are you going?
Thanks for following.
Good morning, PewDiePie. 369. Yeah, I feel. Oh, be careful here, John. He could play queen to b3, and then I would lose my queen. Thank you for following, PewDiePie. Where do I know you from? No. No.
Why? 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 Why?
Why? Why indeed?
PewDiePie
Said. Hi, I'm from Saudi S weather average.
Saudi's weather average. Nice. But I have seen you in another stream, though. We have watched chess. Or do we? Chess 369, how about that? That's where the players are in different positions, right? 9 different positions to place the players. Can you imagine? The players assume different positions, standing on their heads while you arrange the pieces. Let's grab the center. Why not? Chess 369. Or chess 969, I guess it would have to be. I apologize, 369. Let's start it. Fisher never thought about having the players in various positions. Why just the pieces? Let's use this just to get our pieces out. Oh no, that's fascinating. Oh, I'm not going there again. Yes, we're going to try to open up some lines. Oh, this is not Viking. Oh my God. No wonder it's not Viking. I just realized what's going on in this position.
PewDiePie
Said. I don't remember which stream was it.
I don't know. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it was... I'm feeling it was like Can I do that? Here a check, there a check, everywhere a check, check. No, I can't do it. But it does look like I have enough pressure. Can't let Ron get away with this. Need to keep driving him back. Driving him back. Driving him back. Driving him back. What does he have? Oh no! Is this true? That's a bummer. Now what's happening? He cannot allow any exchanges. Can you feel me breathing?
PewDiePie.
Said. Despite the age, I like the energy.
Despite the age. Thank you so much, sir. I guess I resemble that remark. I'll have you know that I'm 39, buddy. Let's get everybody in on this mix. Just to see what we can do. Fine. He's got me. He got my C3 square. And now for something completely indifferent, I'm afraid.
PewDiePie.
Said. I am 21, I am not too young, but people think I am young.
You are young, sir. You are young. Heartache to heartache. You stand. No promises, no demands. I was 21. Actually, I was not 21 when I heard that song for the first time. That song was before I was born, given that I'm 39 years old. Where are you from, PewDiePie? What is your favorite stream? You have Gotham Chess? It's like, remember the scene in...
John MacArthur.
Said. Master Chess Dojo is rumored to be 39-year-old, born in Denver, Colorado, lives in NYC, and accidentally began teaching chess Sunday, August 15th of 1984, 2 days after the death of W.C. Tigran Petrosian MCD.
John MacArthur.
Said. On the UES forever, some random pandemic drove him to buy a house. Crazy enough. C5 wiki experiment.
John MacArthur.
Said. Became a U.S. National Master in December of 1989, an official team coach in October of 1990, and a FIBE trainer in November of 2016. Yes, MCD lives in NYC near JFK Airport after living in Manhattan.
So which one was that I just typed? By the way, when I first moved into the house, before I replaced the windows, you could actually hear jet planes during my stream taking off and landing. So every now and then, you could hear all sorts of stuff happening. So on average, whoop, I almost lost the pizza there. But now I think I have to redo that one. I don't know what I typed because it doesn't show me my command. Oh, it was about. So I have to edit the about ever so slowly because it's no longer relevant. No longer entirely relevant. Can I do it that way? Yeah, why not? Oops. There's a pawn on c6. I mean, there's a pawn on d6. There's no pawn protecting c6. Yeah. So nobody hears the jet planes. The plane, there are a few command jokes that were written around airplanes at the time with the help of my good buddy Arsenal fan Richie as well. Arsenal fan Richie was also a streamer.
John MacArthur
said. Don T. Let the imaginary obstacle of talent prevent you from achieving more. Arsenal fan Richie.
So I set up an alt account for the bot to keep it from saying Streamlabs, advertising Streamlabs all the time. So therefore, I think I need to change it again because I don't necessarily like having my name saying my name. I also need to change the name on the account because everyone knows that my name is John MacArthur. I know a lot of people know me. We're all good friends in the chess community around the globe, whether or not they are in, actually IRL friends to a certain extent, whether they're in Moscow or in Greece, Turkey, Hungary. And of course my streaming friends whom I've met in the streaming community, many of whom I've met in person. Who did I raid yesterday? I'm trying to recall. Oh, there are my actions? No, I know where to find my actions. PewDiePie. Are you playing PewDiePie? You can become a member of the dojo or connect with me on my socials. Either way. Oh,
John MacArthur
said.
I remember why I was doing that. I wanted to be able to mute because Streamlabs apparently wasn't muting, so I'm going to try to mute myself again. We've gotten quite a few people here. Did we get a raid or something? Where is everybody from? What is going on here, folks? I love the fact that people are in the stream. And people have joined the Maurice Ashley Dojo. Please join the Discord. That is the #1 way to support the community. Participating. That's weird. That is very weird. I think I have to take that center no matter what. No, sir. Just give him long enough.
PewDiePie.
Said. 2,200 rating. I might lose ILL. Try my luck because mine is 1,500.
I believe that you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. I'm not entirely sure why this is even a relative discussion, you know? To be honest. Whoops. This is not even a discussion. Can I do it that way? Or am I losing a pizza? I feel like I'm close to losing a pizza. That's interesting. He's trying to checkmate me on the back rank, the wise guy. You definitely had me at hello. You know that? You definitely had me at hello. Fine. Let's keep everything under wraps. Just gonna walk right up. Well, that's fascinating. That much is fascinating. Let's start anchoring. Drama. Drama.
PewDiePie.
Said. You replaying tournament?
I play tournaments every single day, by the way. Every single day. I actually organize the increment events. And this was a reasonable turnout, but let's just go back in time for the most part. And this
John
960,
MacArthur.
Said.
these are
Applying
usually...
yourself daily. Also join Master Chess Dojo Rapid Classical https lichess org team Master Chess Dojo Rapid Classical. Lastly, Daily Dojo Bullet.
John MacArthur.
Said. Join the dojo to get notifications of scheduled events, which always feature an increment and a time control worth learning from https lichess org team Master Chess Dojo. It's about doing your best.
John MacArthur.
Said. https lichess org team Master Chess Dojo 960.
So those are the three teams, and the irony of that is that I create these teams. We have the Summer Swiss Series coming up. Control panel. Let me see if I can mute in the new user group. Let's see if I can mute. Blacklist. Where's my blacklist? I want to blacklist John MacArthur 510. It's mainly on YouTube, so let's just blacklist him on YouTube. How about that? And then we'll blacklist Streamlabs as well while we're at it. Make sure that that was... just in case we take off the... Now we'll close the speech chat. We'll reopen it, and we'll see if we've managed to take John MacArthur 510 out of the mix. So yeah, I run daily events all the time. We have them organized through the summer months, but it's possible once I retire, I'll be able to run morning workouts all morning long. Or around the clock, depending on which school wants me to provide a tournament.
Said. IDK, how do I send challenge?
Well, in theory, if I were open to challenges, because I do take challenges and match requests from subscribers. There are reward requests for Race to 6, I believe, which is less expensive than the... So we have 1+1, 3+2, things like that. I don't play a single game. I would love to play a PewDiePie. You are strong. There's no doubt about it. Also, I know you are strong because you are young. You are young. I'll be singing that one for a while. We're next up. We have Maurice Ashley's birthday. This is, by the way, Maurice Ashley's birthday. Control C. Message all members. Let's do this. Copy link address. But thank you for being here in either case. Sundays and Saturdays, if we didn't have the Saratoga, New York State middle school and elementary school championships this weekend, I would more than likely be streaming more. It's possible that I could be streaming more. I may break the regular streaming schedule that I have of early mornings only soon enough. Am I in the last dojo of the day too by accident? I don't think I should be in the rapid event. No, I have to withdraw from that one. I must withdraw from that one. Because I'm going to be driving to school at that point. So normally when you want to send a challenge, at the top of your profile, you have a crossed swords icon. And you can see it up there. But on the main page, when you are, so if you have a challenge, it appears there. On the main page, you can play a friend, challenge a friend. You type in their username, the type of game that you want. I only play rated events. To be honest, I only play rated events. So then, therefore, and if I click on this, and when I click on this or that, then it starts to give you this screen even, if you didn't fill it out properly. So I have Ron Hay here as a frequent challenger. Reusable challenge URL. Oh, isn't that interesting? So, interesting. Let's see if this works, PewDiePie. I'm going to put that up for a moment. Or anyone who wishes to click on it to see if that. And we're going to find out if J. MacArthur 510 That is interesting. I think I may have to use that command immediately, if not sooner. Where is it? Multi-stream? Commands, CloudBot, Chatbox. Commands. Add a command. 3.2.
Friedrich Hoberg
said, hello.
No one has clicked on that link. Interesting. Friedrich, good morning. Did that link show up in YouTube as well? 3.2. Rated games only. Send a challenge with this link. How are you, Friedrich? How is the weather? Is it getting warmer, sir? Send a challenge. Send a challenge as a sub. How about that? Subscriber.
PewDiePie
said, yeah, kinda.
Rated games only. Send a challenge with this link.
Friedrich Hoberg
said, any advice on getting to 1400 on CC?
PewDiePie
said,
1400 on chess.com. Tactics. Work on tactics very diligently. The first step, by the way, if you're trying to do it on that server or on Lichess, I highly recommend Puzzle Streak. Puzzle Streak is very, very punishing. Now the first challenge I set up, 3-2. I'm going to do the same thing for 1
John
plus 1.
MacArthur.
Said.
Oh no, it's
Rated
still...
Games only send a challenge as a subscriber to MCD with this link https://lichess.org variant standard minutes per side 3-0 game mode rated increment 2 user Master Chess Dojo friend.
You, dude, are supposed to be blacklisted. Right? What's up with that? Options. How about volume 0? Can I do that? Advanced options. Aha, volume 0%. How about that? I got you. I got you. I figured you out. Now YouTube. So this one's going to be at John MacArthur. How about that? Maybe you're getting by because it's at John MacArthur. There's an at John MacArthur and I'm going to try the advanced options on that one, bringing it down to 0 as well.
John MacArthur.
Said. A dojo legend and longtime supporter of the dojo Zalakai created and donated our amazing belt sub badges. Please go follow Zalakai and watch entertaining educational chess content at
John MacArthur.
Said. https www.twitch.tv Zalakai.
Wait. Aha! Blacklist all moderators. Maybe that's it. Oh, hey, I saw it. I saw it. So here's the open challenge. View in full size.
PewDiePie.
Said. I can T-send challenge maybe because system doesn't T allow me.
You are correct. Never mind. That that thingamajiggy does not work. To invite someone to play, give this URL. How about that? The first person to come to this URL will play with you. Though that means that after the first person, I need to It takes practice, Frederick, but honestly, let's get back to answering Frederick's question, whether or not we have this one or that one. The 3-2 is going to have to wait. So, getting back to this, I'm a big believer in Puzzle Streak. First off, you have to be able to identify the theme, verbalizing the theme. Here, it's pawn promotion. We would like to promote this pawn. We're going to win material, and we're going to promote the pawn with check if the king tried to step over to stop it. But all in all, if I did miss this theme, right? If I did miss this theme, then I would go back and I would work on thematic puzzles involving these items. So if I'm missing checkmate in 2, for example, or if I'm missing skewers, in this particular case it just happens to be a skewer. Now the first 40 or 50 on this exercise, I know Puzzle Streak better than chess.com. I feel that chess.com is entirely random with their puzzles, but I do know that if you play on Puzzle Streak, the first 40 to 50 should represent you as a 1600 player. I say you should be able to get to 40 or 50 very easily if you are an actual 1600 rated player. And you should be able to do it routinely and regularly. Now, of course, the first 40 are so easy. This is like a chess.com mate. You get these over and over again. Back rank mate. It's called a back rank mate. So here, we could check, removing the defender of c6, and then we get to take the rook. So we're literally decoying the knight, deflecting the knight, removing the defender, and then we actually get to take that. We get to come back if we wish to and take more material. So once I identify the theme that I make a mistake on, then we can actually go to puzzle themes, and down here, capturing defenders, discovered attacks, forks, exposed kings. Now you can also master the individual pieces. I love the categories here in which Lee Chess does it, but you should be able to do 100 if it's attention to detail. I repeat, if it is attention to detail that you are lacking, and this is most likely to a particular piece not covering or the coordination of a pair of pieces not working well together, I would ask that you do 100 maiden ones. 100 maiden ones at a normal level. And then you try to do 100 maiden ones at the hardest level. The only difference between the hardest level and the normal level is the fact that you will get exercises with the pieces all the way across the board. Or, let's say, dovetail mates. Now, I don't gain any rating points for these. So it doesn't really matter how many of these I do. I probably have to do like 100 to gain 1 rating point. But for you, on the other hand, you can do 100 of these to get your rating up to about master level if you'd like. But maiden ones, and then you get to pay attention. And you can see the maiden ones down below. So let's take a look at how many it'll take me. This is 2. We have a couple of minutes left. So mate in 1 move means that you have to use all of the pieces together, noting that the bishop and the rook are controlling. The only square that the king can move to is f6. I could see anyone moving the knight forward instead of backwards to get this checkmate. So you actually have to be able to coordinate your pieces. Do 100 of these in a row. I repeat, 100 of these in a row. Taking advantage of pins, for example. Being able to see that you can go to a square by taking advantage of a pin because something isn't guarded is key. And at the same time, you will get your selection of theoretical back rank mates, but in this particular case, the back rank mate is not mate in 1. Instead, it's 2 bishops working together. Oh, I gained a rating point, so I must have done some of these before, or that one was special. In this particular instance, sometimes we get a very cute one. We don't have a back rank. We don't have a mate with protection of the pawn. We have a mate with protection of the knight. And you will have hallucinations in this. I guarantee you. You will have hallucinations in this. In fact, knowing everything about where the king is placed is one thing. Now the pawn is providing help. The bishop is providing help. The only escape square is h4. So we're going to do this. And now you can tell, I'm going to try to do 10. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to resize my board so that 10 go across A through D, 10 go across E through H. Right? If I get to 10. If I don't fudge it up, right? Uh-oh, the arena started. So I would do 10 of these for an assessment, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So here we are. And now I just need to open up my board a little bit more. 10 fits from A through D. 10 will be from E through H. And I need 5 rows below this board without an error. This is a good example of diligence, determination, and attention to detail. Being able to see everything is controlled, coordinated, and you will have all of your pieces working together. If you can do 10 across from A through D, 10 across from E through H, and then you need 5 rows of these without an error, mate in ones. Then try to do checkmate in 2 moves with the same theme, by the way, same theme. So if we go back to puzzle themes, whoops, it opened up a brand new window. Puzzles, puzzle themes. Unfortunately, I wish these were higher. These, to me, are the basic tactics that everyone must know. You can do 200 mate in twos if you think that's a real challenge. But here you actually have to pay attention. You do. You have to pay attention to what's going on in this particular moment. So, on average, and believe it or not, you can get more than one way. As long as it's checkmate. We have 3 rooks in a row. You're going to be fine. Notice that it started all over down here. And I have my board sized perfectly, but I'm going to grab the bottom corner to resize my board how I need to. Let's rejoin our Blitz tournament already in action. Again, doing 100 checkmate and 1 exercises at the hardest level on the platform of your choice without an error is a very good way to test your focus, concentration, your attention to detail, and of course it will also show you or point out to you what pieces you may overlook, lack the necessary skills with, or perhaps have a blind spot for. And that way it'll help you help yourself, because I can't tell you that you need help in a particular area. I don't know if there's a piece that you're overlooking, but I would like to help you. But you can help yourself by finding out what puzzle theme that you're missing. If you find yourself missing it once, just make a checklist. Okay, write it down the first time. I missed removing the defender, or I missed mate in 2. I tried to win a piece instead, or I missed a discovered attack. Also, send me your Chess or your Chessable username at some point. I will connect with you there on Chessable to be able to do very fixed, repetitive drills. The drawback to the one that we just saw, by the way, the drawback to doing Lichess online puzzles is that you don't get the direct repetition. Now, I'm going to put my knight on e7 because I need to seek asymmetrical placement of my pieces to my opponents. If I play knight f6 and they play knight f3, then this position could be, unfortunately, relatively equal. I'm looking for a material imbalance. I'm not that worried about that. Can I do that? Here a check, there a check, everywhere a check, check. So you can take my pawn on d5. It's unfortunate. Basically, if I castle and he plays knight takes d5, f6, knight takes e7 check is answered by queen takes e7 check, but then he gets to move his bishop back to that square. This is unfortunate, but we still have the asymmetrical piece placement. We still have the asymmetrical piece placement to try for more. Now we're going to go for some other potential treatments. Still going for the... Oh, now we've got an asymmetrical treatment. We have the 2 bishops. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. very interesting, very intriguing. You can't possibly leave your knight there, though. Ooh, ouch. Now, is his knight trapped? It looks it, right? It looks it. It looks trapped. Oh, wise guy. Yeah, it's a bummer. That is a bummer. This doesn't look like it's going to work out the way I want it to. But it could be interesting. We do have a passed pawn of sorts. Can I get there from here? Now let's just stop him in his tracks. Let's not get too fancy. We're just gonna have to try to make the most. Oh, bummer. Bummer. He didn't fall for the back rank mate. That's such a bummer. I almost fell for something, though. That was no good. That was no good. That's interesting. Overworked himself nicely here. It appears. We need coffee. I don't expect him to make another move. No. Being able to see those mates, very important. Being able to rehearse and rehash and see the coordination of two pieces, priceless. Arsenal fan Richie, good morning. It's playing Frederick. We have to rename ourselves on YouTube to our proper names or to our proper aliases, right? It looks like YouTube. I need an algorithm for this. Really, I do. We're a little overworked in the central square. I'm not sure if he's deciding whether or not to play rook takes d4 or ruin your pawn structure straight away. But I feel it might have been best. No, you had to play queen to c1 perhaps, because then you could pin the bishop to the rook. There's an intriguing queen sacrifice back here, if needed. To play bishop to this square, or to play queen to this square, and then have his bishop return. But it doesn't work, unfortunately. It just doesn't work. I was hoping to actually get rook to c1, rook takes c1, rook takes c1, or bishop takes b7, rook takes c1, rook takes c1, but this is adequate for covering the first rank. Alright, now, in order to draw this, we're going to have to really boogie like a house of fire. Why do we resign? Because we have less time? Rook endgames can be drawn at any time. You have to work very actively and very feverishly in rook and pawn endgames. Another reason why, and I'm happy that Arsenal fan is back, another reason why there are strong players that sometimes don't play, as well as on the other side of the coin, because they don't think they get good value playing against me. They're always worried about their rating getting or dipping, right? But in reality, all the rating points just circle around. All the rating points just shift from person to person. And there's no stopping the rating points from shifting from one person to the next person. However, they all come back to you if you are a certain strength. Your rating never really changes. Chess improvement. Let's give him a chance. I do not recommend berserking, except as an experiment in odds. As a challenge, I do believe in taking over the center. No, you must take that one. And we have to take this up. I just want a good control of the center. I'm not sure why I wasn't taking that freebie. Trying to take enough of that freebie. Let's keep his pawn isolated. Not a fan of that move either. What was I thinking? Not for that reason, though. But he still has the opportunity to play. I forgot that I berserked. He took so long in this particular instance that I almost forgot that he had berserked. Where's this queen going? Where is this queen going? I was thinking that it only had one square or two squares. D8 was also an option. No trade, sir. No
PewDiePie.
trades.
Said. I won last match against person random.
That's good. That's awesome. That's good to hear. My opponent gave me a chance here, and I did not think about it, unfortunately. Is there a way for him to stop the next move? No. You won against person random? I'm assuming that you were Dinglong.
PewDiePie.
No.
Said. You're taking the lead.
That happens, but I don't count. Really, this arena, this exercise is designed for all of us to analyze our games and do better. For example, in the last one that we played, I did not actually analyze all of my games, so I just need to open that up in a new window and go back in time to make certain that my 4 or 5 bullet games that I played this morning are all analyzed. Alright. So what are we playing here, Mr. Mayoto? I guess we're playing the French again. Just received a Jan Timman book that I did not have in my library. 100 Endgame Studies, you must know. Again, we are going to place our pieces asymmetrically. Now, this is not the best move, by the way. Not the best move. Not the best move. Best move. Best move. Not sure what my opponent is up to here. We're gonna get super aggressive here. Do I need to worry about this? Maybe not. Maybe I should have just developed. I was trying for a cheapo, folks. I admit it. I was trying for a cheapo. Should have played knight to d7, perhaps. Knight to d7, knight to f6. Something's wrong with this picture. Something seems terribly wrong with this picture. Where is he headed? This is a fancy skewer, if there ever was one. Who sees a skewer by removing a defender that often? Skewer by removing a defender. And I do believe in that exercise of doing 100 maiden ones as like a tune-up. It should not take you that long. In fact, you should be ultimately very, very confident of your ability to do the checkmates in one. I was expecting king g2, bishop h3, king takes h3, queen takes f3, king h4, h6 with a pawn mate.
Said, I forgot it Blitz.
I do know Maurice Ashley. We've been friends for a long time, since my earliest days in New York. I think I played him first in 1989. He was high 2300s, or roughly about 2400 in strength with no title at that time. I also did work for Josh Waitzkin and Fred Waitzkin on the books Josh Waitzkin Attacking Chess and other projects that Maurice Ashley also had worked on, which was the software Toolworks, Chessmaster something, whatever version number database. I know that I'm mentioned in the credits for working on the database of important master games that everybody must know. I do have to remember to put these down on my CV because I've forgotten about them many times over in the past. But yeah, Maurice and I are good friends. In fact, the last time we were in Paris, I got a little bit too inebriated, obviously, but I stuck around much longer than Nemo and Maurice did. But it was all good. I like this new thematic music that we have using Spotify. much better than paying for a service like Slipstream just because it's attached to Streamlabs. We have to treat our opponent with respect. I don't know who he lost to, but he definitely lost to someone.
Kingslayer Sloan
said. John's respect for his podcast, however.
Ooh. Ooh, this could be trouble. I'm down a piece. I'm literally down a piece. So how am I going to get myself out of this mess? Oh, wow. I think he may have let me off the hook a little bit. He may have let me off the hook a little bit. I have a microcosmic chance. I have a macrocosmic chance to bother the daylights out of him.
PewDiePie
said. I am terrible without knowing opening.
Appropriately. Now I've managed to compensate for being down in the night on this side of the board, at least. Boom. I thought he was going in a different direction. I really did. I really did think that he was going in a different direction.
Said. I worked hard for endgame tactics without working on opening lol.
Do I do it now? Or do I do it later? I'll offer it to him. Have a pawn, sir. Bum 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 bum. Ba-da bum 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 bum. I was really expecting him to play bishop takes c2, and my whole world was going to be destroyed then. If he played bishop takes c2 first, queen e2 was an illusion. A delusion. Bummer. Do I? Do I have to return this? Let's see. Do I have to return this? Really? Wow. Not what I was expecting. Not what I was expecting at all, at all. Now everything's blockaded and I am safe again. Wow. Who would have known? Very lucky. I was very lucky against Arsenal fan Richie. Very lucky. Better to be lucky than good sometimes.
Arsenal fan Ricky
said. Well played.
No, it was not well played, but thank you, Arsenal. Richie, thank you, man. It was not well played at all, but it was fun. Someone did that exact same thing to me many, many years ago, by the way.
Arsenal fan Ricky
said. F me F3, what was I thinking?
F3, exactly. Paul 184. That is one sad night on
player
B1.
said. How's the FM training?
The FM training is exactly what those letters mean. FM. It's like FU means fully understood. Not for you, of course, but I like that meme that someone has where they comment on whatever it is. So someone had done this to me, this E4 move, and it threw me off. They also did the bishop F4 and bishop G5 routine, but they played in this position H3. And the move order avoids the 9b5 pawn sacrifice to a great extent until it doesn't, right? Like you can do almost everything else. And you can tell there are a few players. Kekalidze, a 2700 rated plus player, played this against me over the board at the Marshall on a Thursday night, 4 rated games. And I do have to get back to those days somehow. I do have to get back to my Thursday night 4 rated games. Because I used to be good. I used to be a good player. Bishop F4 was only played by Jim Plaskett. And he beat the very young Yair Kraidman. However, H3 in this particular move order has been played quite a number of times by Daniel Dumov And it doesn't look well for black at the top level, right? Novikov, Sokolov, Bonikas. So this is the lead chess database of good players. The survey says can't lose, might win with h3. But I played this terrible move. Then a4 was just terrible. Knight c3 obviously would loosen the whole shebang. And I did want to bring the pawns forward. Ironically, I wanted those pawns to come forward. Can you imagine I wanted those pawns to come forward? So silly. I also considered the move knight to d4 in this position, as well as I didn't really want to have to play rook to e1, but let's just take a look. Rook e1 is probably the second best move. Oh, knight on b to d2 and rook e1
Arsenal
are
fan
vying
Ricky.
for second spot.
Said. ND4 BD7 looks unpleasant.
Then I was going to play a4 and knight to b5 afterwards, yes. So yeah, I considered this possibility here more than anything. But it only ranks at 5th.
Arsenal
And it says
fan
you should
Ricky.
just take.
Said. I
Really?
mean for white.
Arsenal
for
fan
white.
Ricky.
Said. I think black S fine.
I'm sure black is fine. But I'm also enjoying this position a little bit as white. And now we're not losing our material. So did I have this move as well in the game? I did, didn't I? I had this move as well in the game. I didn't have to play the move b3 and c3, and then I'm just losing. I agree to disagree that knight to d4 is just another game. I don't think white is worse at all because we always have the space. We always have the space. We'll always have Paris. This, on the other hand,
Arsenal
and then
fan Ricky.
Said. Only I could lose a position that good.
I don't know. You've got some contenders. You have some contenders. You are okay. And after this, I'm going to have no rook. So all they have to do is batten down the e5 square and make sure that this pawn never moves. You have to cover
Arsenal
this
fan
one.
Ricky.
Said. I wonder if it's even possible to sacrifice d6.
Arsenal fan Ricky.
Said. To get
Yeah, to get knight e5 in. Yep, absolutely. No, that was craziness. Absolute mad craziness for me to lose this game. I mean, for me to play this badly and still win this game. +9, you're not as good as Carlsen. Or Nakamura lost, I think, -11 to Magnus Carlsen. Might have been -12. But as the computers get stronger, those numbers get smaller. So here I was actually expecting knight to g3. And I was planning on playing bishop to e3. But it looks as though the knight is still trapped. So I don't necessarily need to play bishop to e3.
Arsenal fan Ricky.
said. NG3 B3 I didn't see a good follow-up.
But my pieces are so, what's the right word? They're so misconjoint,
Arsenal fan Ricky.
Said. I
miscoordinated.
thought OpenG file would give me chances for the piece.
Yeah, it should have. I think it should have. So G takes H5, but never mind, as we've got the... Then I had this hallucination that you're getting your queen back to C8. I really did. Before I played bishop to E3, and because you don't have queen to D8, is the reason why I played this move, to try to scarf over here. Then there was this position where you are better, and this was a terrible move on my part. I felt you would just take on C2. And then my queen is embarrassed for having moved twice. But when you play to this square, Now I actually get chances to stir up trouble. Knight a6, yes. I actually consider that you could just barnacle and I have nothing. I have nothing in this position if you just move your knight back. But you got a little something out of it. And then I was always expecting c2 to overwork my knight. c2
Arsenal fan Ricky.
and this discovery as well.
Said. I thought na6, but didn't he want to bring knight backwards?
Yeah, we have to get rid of those neuroses. We have to get rid of those prejudices if we're going to do anything. Bishop takes. And this was just all downhill from here. f4 was just the losing blunder. The whole position reverses after that. So f3 check. Could you have played it earlier? I mean, even here, my knight can return. Oh, I blundered here, yes. Queen to g4, and then you have just
Set.
f3 right away.
Yes, it was mate.
This is the f3 position. I missed this f3 position. For whatever reason in my mind's eye, I was thinking that it was after this or whatever. It never occurred to me that you actually stopped on g4. So is f3 just as good here? I didn't think so. I did not think so. This is where I thought of it. When in my mind's eye, when you guys were talking about f3, I was thinking in this position. I completely forgot that you stopped with your queen on g4. And yes, I have made it. I no longer have queen b5, queen. So I no longer have knight to g3. And right now I finally, for the first time in the game, felt like I should not lose. This is the first time in the entirety of the game that I felt I shouldn't lose. Oh, did I have that
Arsenal
too?
fan Ricky.
Said.
Arsenal fan Ricky.
Said. No pieces to attack with.
Man, everything's blockaded. The pawns can barely move. Oh, terrible. I was very lucky. But Pillsbury won the tournament, as I was telling PewDiePie earlier. Pillsbury actually is the real winner of the tournament. In theory, I'm just here every day as an organizer, umpire, and whatnot. Pillsbury is the beast. He plays very consistently. What happened to Ron Hay? Indeed. Ron has not even yet stopped in, I don't think. But meanwhile, Paul 184, I got all of your birthdays into the calendar. At first, I started to
Pegasus
put them in
Sway.
without the links.
Said. RC8 then C2.
Now we're in business. Rook c8 and then c2, sir. Let's go back. I think that was a very good move, by the way. That was indeed a very, very good move. He had a rook c. He had c2 at many moments, as well as shoving his e pawn,
Pegasus
followed by
Sway.
threatening to serve the c
Said.
pawn.
Not BH6.
Not bishop h6. Aha. Ah, rook c8. At least it's worth a shot. So you do have a few chances. It was just bishop h6 that did you in. Yeah, bishop h6. Or even c2 check. Trying for this one. Try to slime me this way. Not that it's even remotely good. That's the worst thing about it, is that it's still not good. I think I can even take on c8. Or I can ignore it. That's even worse. I can ignore it. Because we're always threatening to promote. But rook c8 indeed, Ron. It's getting the last of my 2+1 bullet games analyzed. I do have to run before the 7:15 tournament. I'm terribly sorry that I cannot be there.
PewDiePie.
Said. Because there are 2 rooks in good position.
Exactly, 2 rooks in good position. My rooks will be in better positions eventually. But yes, I got all of and every one of Paul 1E4's birthdays. There were very close to, but not quite, 24 birthdays that I did, that I caught up on. A handful of the birthdays do not have game or bio links in the calendar, but then I figured out a fast way to do both, because the Google Calendar has changed the means in which we are able to, for me to copy and paste quickly into the calendar.
Pegasus
Basically.
Sway.
Said. Av White is playing like Magnus Carlsen.
Av White? Uh-oh. In ours? Who's that? Uh-oh, it's time for the whippersnapper to wake up. It's also time for me to message in about getting to Saratoga. And I may be considering retiring in the next period of time. I've definitely had my good run of things as far as school goes. And if I can play it just right, I will be
Arsenal
enjoying
fan
it.
Ricky.
Said. Retiring from streaming.
Classroom.
Arsenal fan Ricky.
Said. Or coaching.
Classroom teaching. I am anxious to get the other projects going. Publishing
Arsenal
my
fan
books.
Ricky.
Said. Oh,
Yeah, I
nice,
know, right?
congrats.
I'm just so tired of the commute into the city. I'm so tired of the commute into the city. I mean, it's interesting, but the health care is the only thing that I'm concerned about in the retirement process, because in the current state of the United States, there is no health care for anyone. So I may even consider relocating to a less expensive place. I'm only worried about, beyond that, I'm only worried about health care for my grandson and education. But I do believe the
Arsenal
education
fan
elsewhere
Ricky.
could be just...
Said. What a screwed up country that you work all your life and you can't even afford to get ill.
No, you get ill, you die. I will consider it because I enjoy Todd Andrews and the climate. I don't think that it gets that cold there. It does get cold there these days, though, with global warming. Thank you, Paul 1E4. But I will be using, hopefully, my connections with all of you to explore my options. But I want to do more streaming, more writing, more classroom curriculum design. Actually, and I even have a, because you're not
Pegasus
allowed
Sway.
to.
Said. I am a little tired today or sluggish. I went up to Stockholm and back home, but a nice funeral despite the sadness.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, Ron. I'm so sorry to hear that. We are at that time in our lives where more people are leaving us than we are celebrating having just met, or anniversaries of having just met, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I am looking forward to it.
Arsenal fan Ricky.
Said. Sorry to hear you had a funeral, mate.
Yeah. I was just watching the irony of it. I was watching the agony of someone asking Gotham Chess some terrible or ridiculous question. I can't remember. You know how chat is. You know, they're asking questions just for the sake of asking questions. I'm very thankful for all of you because we have a relative knowledge of each other, so we can always ask how we're doing, you know, if things are good and everything like that. But honestly, they ask him a question and he goes a little bit nuts on FIDE because of the Danya thing for the most part. And I do feel the same way. There's like no justice. There's like, yes, you could say that Danya was there, but that situation escalated because of the Kramnik situation. He did not he should not get a free pass just because there may have been toxic substances involved. And by the way, how do those things even happen? Personally, when you're having depression or anxiety and you dabble with those things, it makes it for an easy way out. And that's where friends have to be a little bit more alert to what's going on. Just have to be that much more alert to what's going on. I know in this position Black wanted to play f5 after this, and that's why he played bishop h6 to avoid the knight coming in. More than likely. But at that point it didn't matter. It really didn't matter.
Arsenal fan Ricky
said. It also amplifies. I know that from drinking I struggle with depression anyways. The day after 10 pints or 2 bottles of wine or whatever is pretty somber.
Indeed, it is pretty somber. I've had those moments as well, although I don't directly, cross my fingers, I don't directly suffer with depression. I definitely know what it feels like because when I was younger, I definitely had those moments when I would refer to it more as anxiety. I think I have what Nemo is suffering from. She also has anxiety. My vice is too many sweets. Well, that's a nice vice to have. If it doesn't impair you too badly, it's a nice vice to have. Paul. But in general, I have to run. I'm happy that Chrissy won again yesterday. Paul 1E4 was asking if I was following her. I have not been doing her games quite as much, but it's definitely worth it.
Said, take care everyone, nice to see you guys.
I would like to send us to
Pegasus Sway
said, my aunt who passed away, but it was fun to meet my cousins and a female priest who was very good at telling me about my aunt's life that I didn't know about.
Really? Oh no. I actually have a great story about that, Pegasus, where I got lucky at my grandmother's funeral. I'm not entirely sure.
Arsenal fan Ricky
This is the
said,
exact moment.
Pegasus SWE, that's nice to hear, man.
But in general, I'm going to send you somewhere that is happy, fun, enjoyable,
Pegasus Sway
and pleasant.
Said, we LLC you and take care of you today.
Thank you all for being here. I will try to do more. And of course, I enjoy streaming and I enjoy hanging out with you guys as well. So please enjoy Kiko and I believe Zumi. Because they are very, very high energy, real life, amusing streamers. And sometimes you need a little bit of escape like this. Cheers and ciao, everyone. Thank you.